He was a scout for the U.S. Army, a Pinkerton detective, and one of the deadliest marksmen in the Old West. But today, the name Tom Horn is synonymous with one of the most controversial executions in American history. Was he a cold-blooded child killer or a man framed by the very cattle barons who hired him? From the invention of a water-powered gallows to the artifacts scattered across Wyoming and Colorado, we are diving into the dark legend of Tom Horn. And later, we are taking you directly to his final resting place to see if the secrets of his life followed him to the grave. Stick around, you won't want to miss this. Tom Horn wasn't your average outlaw. Born in Missouri in 1860, he headed west when he was young and built a resume that reads like a Western novel. He spoke Spanish and Apache, playing a key role in the capture of Geronimo, and eventually became a legendary range detective. But in the early 1900s, Wyoming was a powder keg. Big cattle companies were at war with small-town homesteaders over grazing rights. Horn was hired as an enforcer. His job? To deter cattle rustling. Usually, that meant a bullet from a long-range Winchester. Let's stop and go back to Geronimo. Tom was involved in Geronimo's final capture in 1886 in Skeleton Canyon in southern Arizona. He was serving as a scout and interpreter for the U.S. Army during General Nelson A. Miles' campaign and was present at the surrender, though accounts of his exact role vary, with some suggesting he rode in to negotiate. He escorted Geronimo to the train that took the Apache captive into exile. I always wondered if Tom is one of the men on the train in this picture. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. The downfall of Tom Horn began in July 1901 with the murder of 14-year-old Willie Nickell. Willie was shot from a distance near his home in Iron Mountain, Wyoming. The theory was that the killer had mistaken the boy for his father, who was embroiled in a sheep versus cattle feud. Horn was arrested after a questionable confession was obtained by Deputy Marshal Joe LaForce, who allegedly overheard Horn bragging while drunk. So this building right here is where they put Tom Horn when they arrested him, and so they used this area up here as a holding area until he had his trial. So it looks like it says on that window U.S. Marshal, where they kept Tom Horn. So, do modern historians think he did it? The jury is still out, literally. In 1993, a mock trial was held in Cheyenne using modern legal standards, and Tom was found not guilty. Many historians believe Horn was a sacrificial lamb. The cattle barons who hired him needed the heat off themselves, and Horn's big mouth made him the perfect fall guy. While he likely killed many men in his career, many experts believe the evidence in the Willie Nickell case was flimsy at best. Here is an interesting fact to the story. Tom escaped from jail briefly in August 1903 while awaiting execution, but he was quickly recaptured after a short chase through Laramie, Wyoming. disarmed and returned to custody, ultimately failing to escape his final fate. The way Tom Horn died is as famous as the way he lived. He was executed using a Julian Gallows, a bizarre and macabre invention by James P. Julian. Unlike traditional gallows, where a lever is pulled, this was an automated, water-powered machine. It consisted of 2 barrels and a plug. When the plug was pulled, water would flow from one barrel into the other. Once the second barrel reached a certain weight, it triggered the trap door. This took the burden of the execution off the hangman's conscience. Even more unique, this wasn't a public spectacle in a courtyard. The gallows was actually set up inside the Larimer County Courthouse in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Horn was hung there on November 20th, 1903. Today, that original grisly machine is preserved and can be seen at the Wyoming Frontier Prison in Rawlins, Wyoming. And the original building where he was hung is no longer there, but a Tom Horn display, including photos and historical items from his time, are located in the old Larimer County building, now a government office building, at 310 West 19th Street in Cheyenne, Wyoming, on the 2nd floor across from the district attorney's office. Here are some interesting documents I found in the National Archives. Some applications for National Register of Historical Places. This one is from St. Mark's Church in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Let's read what it has to say.
One notable social acquaintance of Thomas Gunston was the infamous historical character Tom Horn, bounty hunter and range detective turned outlaw. Tom Horn visited the Gunstons over the years and, according to some sources, used the Gunston Ranch to hide out from the pursuit of Laramie County Sheriff Frank Roach and federal agents seeking his arrest for the killing of a young boy named Willie Nickell. A beautifully braided horsehair bridle and reins was gifted Gunston by Tom Horn and still hangs in perfect condition on the wall of the bar at the remount.
I also came across this interesting newspaper article from the Wyoming Tribune on the day of his death. Headline reads, "Tom Horn, the noted desperado, dies on the gallows." It also features a picture of Tom in jail crafting one of his tools of the frontier. If you travel through Wyoming today, Horn's ghost is everywhere. At the Wyoming State Museum, you can see the actual shoes Tom Horn wore. Small, humble items for a man with such a great reputation. In downtown Cheyenne, as part of the Big Boot Public Art Project, there is a massive 8-foot-tall painted boot titled The Saga of Tom Horn, standing right outside the Laramie County Courthouse, the very site where he took his last breath. So this is supposed to be
Tom Horn's saddle.
Tom Horn's saddle. So they don't have.
We don't have provenance. We have some older lady.
So they're saying that this is a picture of Tom Horn. I guess that's supposed to be Tom Horn right there. Despite his life and death being defined by the Wyoming frontier, Tom Horn isn't buried in Cheyenne. His body was claimed by his brother and brought here to Columbia Cemetery in Boulder, Colorado. So we are in the Columbia graveyard, and we are looking for Tom Horn's grave. He was hung up in Cheyenne, and he was brought to the Columbia graveyard by his brother and sister-in-law, and they're buried next to him. So he is somewhere over in this area. And so let's go take a look. So here's Tom and his brother Charles and his sister-in-law Elizabeth. This is his brother and sister-in-law, and that's Tom. One way that you can recognize if you come here is that you can see these pots that are here. That's how I found my way back to his gravesite. I remember these pots being here. Looking at this headstone, it is surprisingly peaceful for a man whose life was defined by gunpowder and controversy. You can see people still leave coins and trinkets here today. Over 100 years later, it makes you wonder, if these stones could talk, would they tell us he was a murderer or just a man who knew too much? Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Tom Horn. If you want to see more Western history, make sure to check out our other videos. We'll see you at the next historical stop on our ventures. And always remember to be kind in everything you do, even the comments you make.